Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. We got Buddy Martin. We'll have JC win with JC, second portion of today's show. Let's go straight to the Titan & More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temper man, Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. What's up, buddy?
Good morning there, Mr. Party Boy. I saw you last night in a bunch of still pictures. What a night they had at Spurrier's. You were there. I want to hear all about it. And I just saw about a 10-minute riff by Kirby Smart. That was hilarious.
Kirby was funny as hell. So was Mario Cristobal.
I heard that.
Going at each other. It was a great night. Probably the best turnout they've had at that event since they started it, I think 5 years ago. A lot of former players were back. I mean, guys I haven't seen or I didn't even know. But a lot of players that played for Coach Spurrier were there. It was pretty cool.
So Terry Jackson, a bunch of people in pictures. I'm sure you have many more. I'll let you talk about that, but I want to focus for a second on Dan Mullen. Say welcome back. It was a great moment for him. I got a nice picture sent to me by Bobby Alessio of he and his wife, and he looked like he had a great smile on his face. He left under a bit of a cloud, and I still don't know exactly what happened, but he came back in a triumphant return, 10 wins from UNLV, and I know it was a good night for him, but boy, what a cast of people. Shout out to Jags and Trish Garzier for the great job she did working for Chris Doring and getting that event together. You were there, you know all about it, but it's gotten to be a big deal now, Shane. It's a big deal. It's a lot of, look at the names that you saw there Who did you talk to last night?
Well, I talked to, as you said, Terry Jackson was there. Kenyatta Walker, who played in the league a long time, big offensive lineman, was there. Cooper Carlisle, Jesse Palmer was there.
Jesse was there.
Zach Pillar was there. Mark Campbell, Henry McMillan. Trying to think, Doug Johnson was there. Travis McGriff was there. Noah was there. There was quite a few. And, Coach Summerall was there. Spoke with him briefly. And
tell me about that. How did that go with him? Was he impressed? Obviously, he must have been impressed.
Well, I was just talking to him not way before the event started.
Right.
Yeah, but he's happy to be here and he's ready to get to work and which he's been doing. But it was the biggest crowd they've ever had. So I didn't get to talk to everybody, but it was funny as hell. Kirby was hilarious. He was absolutely hilarious.
I saw about a 10-minute clip on him, which I posted. He was talking about getting into a kind of a hissing contest between Derek Dooley and Steve about how many games, how many championships Florida had won and so on. That was kind of funny. But that was good. It's fun. It's good to see these guys are under such great pressure all year. You can tell they kind of will let the top off, the top down, and kind of kick back and have a cold one and shout out to their buds. And it looks like I'll be there next year. I couldn't be there this year. Congratulations. By the way, what a legacy for Coach Spurrier. That is going to go on forever now. And that's a tremendous legacy for him. And so I still go back to Dan. I think about what exactly happened to Dan. Why did he get fired by Strickland? I can't remember. The memories get fuzzy there. I had to think for a minute who fired him. At first I thought it was Fuller. No, Scott Strickland fired him. And I'm still not 100% sure what, other than the fact his defense was horrible. And Grantham, took him down, and he couldn't pull the trigger or wouldn't pull the trigger on some of the assistant coaches. What do you think happened to Dan?
I mean, a lot of people talk about he didn't enjoy recruiting or whatever, didn't recruit the way he should have. I think it'd be a different story in today's world. If, with NIL, there's really not a whole lot of recruiting. It's about writing a check. Dan's a really good football coach. Spoke with him briefly, him and his wife, and it was a good night. It was a really good night. Brent says here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, just heard Mario go in on Kirby. Kirby has a memory like an elephant. Going to be a bad day if Georgia has to play Miami. You got people forget those guys were on staff with Saban for years together. And as much as fans hate other teams, I think people get upset when they see players hanging out with players from a rival, right? Same way with coaches. These coaches are really good friends.
Mhm.
Coach Spurrier, he's good friends with a lot of these other coaches that he coached against. They just like to take jabs at one another, and that's what they do.
Bill Fulmer was there last night, right?
He was there. Yep, spoke with him briefly as well. But I think fans hate other people, hate the other coaches, the other players more than the players and the coaches do because they get along with one another all the time.
That's true. I remember the two coaches 100 years ago at Florida and Florida State, Ray Graves and Bill Peterson, who were arch enemies. But I found out later they would go fishing together and smoke cigars together and had a good time in the off season. But they would never tell anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't go over very well. Um, let's see here. We got some text on the Titan Mark text line. Let's get to those real quick, buddy. If I can pull them up. Chris in Mayaka says, talking about Dan Mullen, his recruiting is what got him fired. I also think he flirted with the NFL that last all season, just lost his passion for coaching here. That's probably about right.
But you know what, Shane? There was a show cause he had too. We didn't know about it for a year because of the recruiting. We didn't know about it for one full year. And we found out there was some kind of recruiting violation that Florida never told us about. Anyway, whatever. It was nice to see he and his wife back last night. Good times.
Gator Josh in Wamama says, Florida is the only school in SEC history to have a Heisman Trophy winner, a Super Bowl winning head coach, and a Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback, all with ties to the coaching tree of Coach Spurrier. I don't think I understand that. Super Bowl winning head coach.
Who's that?
Well, we've never had a Florida coach do that, and we've never had a Florida guy be a Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback. So I don't quite understand that.
I don't either.
But thanks for the text. Rick in Jupiter says, not sure if you're a fan of Josh Pate, but I'm looking forward to your thoughts on the interview. I just can't get myself to watch it yet, knowing the young man wore a T-shirt and jeans to interview the President of the United States. Guess I'm just too old school. I don't know anything about that. Do you, buddy?
No, I used to watch Josh Pate a lot. He's gotten where he's gone national mostly. I know that he interviewed Florida's coach. He's a smart football guy, but he's gotten pretty big now at ESPN, and you don't hear as much on him drill down as much on coaches as you used to. He's very, very knowledgeable football guy. Does a good job.
Yeah. UF Gator says here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, which Kirby wasn't a dog. He's a great coach in person. He is a good dude. He's a good dude. Joseph says on Facebook Live, Mullen was 4 to 5 years too early for UF. So John says Josh Pate interviewed Trump this past Sunday night. So I've not seen it.
I haven't either, and I'm not getting into that. I've learned the hard way. It just doesn't do any good. You can never go right. No matter what you do, half the people hate you. So we have our own little group here. By the way, Shane, we have gone now 10 minutes and not mentioned this amazing basketball story. 7th ranked team in the country. Big game tomorrow night in Texas. And this team has been amazing. I know it's basketball season. I did a binge on Saturday, Shane. I watched 6 games. All are part of 6 games, including Duke, Michigan. I don't know. I know you like hoops a lot. Did you watch any of those games Saturday?
The Duke, Michigan game I watched, yes.
Wow.
Those two teams were getting after it.
They were.
They were getting after it. So, Um, Buddy, I wanted to bring up the hockey. The
Yeah.
Americans
Yeah.
win the gold medal. You
Yeah.
know, I was trying to think, and I know it's happened in basketball, because the best players in the world in basketball play in the NBA, and the best players in the world in hockey play in the NHL. But it's so strange to me when you got these guys. I think Austin Matthews is the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs,
Mm.
and here he is playing for the Americans
Yeah.
against the Canadians. And it's just, these you're playing for your country, but it's so weird how these guys are checking one another, fighting, whatever it may be. And then next week they're going to be teammates again.
Exactly. It's true.
It's a
Shane,
crazy, crazy, crazy
there
thing.
was a local connection for me, and I had him on the show last night for a minute. I was at the Lake Placid game, and I talked to him about, I want to drive your listeners away talking about it. But it's pretty special to have been Lake Placid 46 years ago,
Hmm.
hanging from the side of a bleacher to watch the last 10 minutes of that game because I couldn't get to my seat. And what an amazing night that was in journalism and in sports for me, as I was sports editor of the New York Daily News. Incredible moment, and people couldn't understand hockey. Who cares about hockey? Well, it was a lot more than hockey 46 years ago. And then yesterday to watch them repeat, come back and win the goal. The young man, Hughes, is from Orlando, you know. His dad coaches with the Solar Bears. He lost both his front teeth on the ice. And that moment in the overtime was a tremendous night for Americans and a good one for the and for hockey. So I really enjoyed that. For me, it was special. And last night on my program, I had Bill Madden, who was working for me at the Daily News. The night we were rooming together, the night that happened, we covered that story together. So that was incredible story. Yes, it is amazing how you can come and go, in and out, change your colors. That's just the nature of the beast, Shane.
Which, when you look back at what happened in 1980 compared to what happened, was it Sunday? Which one stands out the most to you?
Well, 1980, because it was the miracle on ice. This is no miracle. This hockey team was good. A lot of people expect, I heard Al Michaels say, if they win, it won't be a miracle. That was his famous line.
Well, back
Uh,
in those days, it was amateurs playing the
exactly.
pros from
All
the Soviet
college kids,
Union.
basically. And by the
Yeah.
way, Shane, they had played, the Russians had played against the Americans in an exhibition game and annihilated them a month earlier. These guys were all pros. These were all college kids. Mike Ruzzoni was the goalie. I mean, he played a great game. Yeah, it was a different. It's a little more mixed and matched now, more pros. But that's special. That's one of the greatest sporting events I've ever attended, and one of the top two or three upsets of all time to me. And to be there and see that was special. And congratulations to these American youngsters for winning this thing. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Texter on the Titan More text line says, I have to watch Cash Patel celebrating with the men's hockey team. I did see it.
Well, you know,
It's
what's
great.
political about that? I mean, people are mad about that now.
Yeah, the people need to get over it. I mean, the
I mean,
dude,
let a guy be a guy. I don't care what party you in or whatever.
no,
Who cares? Your country wins a gold medal. You're there. Why wouldn't you celebrate? We got to get off this
yeah,
thing about everything is so political.
very true. Florida Crackers, a brand for original Floridians, great food and southern hospitality. Visit us in Brooksville, Florida, or visit Florida Cracker Oyster Bar in Keystone Heights. All right, buddy. You talked about the basketball team. Obviously, they are playing at a high level right now, and they're peaking. In your opinion, what do they have to do to be a two seed moving forward? Once the tournament comes out.
Well, obviously, got to win. You know, Texas. I don't know much about Texas. I looked them up today. They're not bad. They're a seed. They're like a projected 9 seed or whatever. They've had some pretty good wins. Do I think Florida's a better team? Yes, I think they're favored by four or whatever. And they got Arkansas on Saturday. So first and foremost, you got to win your games. But I got to tell you, and I think Alex Condon had a coming out party. The game he put against Ole Miss, he found his shot, scored 24 points. And Shane, you played basketball. The beauty of watching a guy run the floor at 6'11", who's so graceful and nimble as he is something to behold. And then on top of that, look at his assists. Look what a soft touch he has for a big man. It's really amazing. Now you got him playing well. We already know about the rest of the guys, and of course, my favorite player is Tommy Hoffman, naturally. And they got six guys averaging scoring double figures, Shane. So they are at the, as you say, the peaking at the right time. What they have to do is they got to make their foul shots. That's one thing you can't start, and they can't. Obviously, you got to keep rebounding like they are, leading the nation. And so they're going to have cold spells. Every team does, but they got somebody there. I mean, clubs are to pick them up on the three, and I think this team is so. In many ways, Shane, this team at times has played better than last year. It's hard to believe, isn't it? National champions.
Just from a stat standpoint, yes. From offensive
Yeah.
efficiency, defensive efficiency, um, I think they are playing just as well as last year. I think they don't have the star power at the guard. I mean, Walter Clayton is, some people can say he's the best we've ever had. We don't have that on this team. You got a group of guys that are doing their job, and they're extremely well coached, and they have a chance. They definitely have a chance. It's going to be
The star is the team and not the individual this year. The team. Look at the weapons they've got. They've got some unbelievable weapons, and you're right. You don't get very often a 3D at guard all NBA players. That was amazing. Walter Clayton was wonderful, and they picked each other up. But this team is good. They're long, they run, they're fast, they're competitive, they're good. They just are a really good-looking basketball team. Now, teams can get nipped in the bud, and they might. There's not to say they're going to win or breeze through the SEC, even though they're the best team in the SEC. But they got some work. That's why it's March Madness. Things happen, Shane. Things happen. So if nothing disastrous happens, this team ought to get to the Final Four, in my opinion. They should get there.
Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel R. Our projected bracket is with Michigan, Houston, Florida, and Virginia. That would not be a good bracket to be in.
Virginia seems to have hopped up in there.
John says, buddy, you said Miracle on Ice was a top 3 upset in your opinion. What was the best upset that you have witnessed in person?
Well, certainly, I think I go back to this Super Bowl and Joe Namath. I was there. I'm talking about ones I've seen and been to. That's got to be right up there, in my opinion. You got to remember that the team they beat was projected to be Baltimore, and Don Shula was their coach. They were such big favorites. It's the first time we ever heard much about points and about point spreads and stuff. And Namath wasn't the best player on the field that day, but he was good enough. That was massive. That caused the merger. That was really, really big. And I have to think about the other one, but certainly, I maybe put number 2, the Lake Placid hockey game, maybe, and I have to think about the others. Those would be my favorites.
Franklin on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, would you go to Tampa to watch the Gators play? I guess he's talking about if they go into that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not going to go to Tampa. You're going to watch it on TV. You know that.
Yeah, I love watching sporting events on TV.
I mean, you can click around, especially basketball season.
You don't have to deal with traffic and all that.
Yeah, and all that crap. And when you're an ordinary guy, when you're calling the game, you got a chauffeur limousine right to the gate and your box lunch in front of you, it's okay. But when you got to go out there with the rest of the peons, and park and pay to eat and try to find your seat and all. You know what? Fans do a lot, Shane.
They do. I don't know. I can't.
I don't know how they do it either. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, God bless them, because it's rough having to find places to park, sit in traffic. I don't leave the football games till about 2 hours after the game.
Well, why would you? You can't get out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But even then, I'm sitting in traffic and it drives me insane. I have no patience for that.
I bet you're terrible. You got road rage potential.
No, I don't get out of the car and go crazy. I'm not that bad, but It's
How about your buddy Tim Walton? There's
what about him?
5 undefeated teams in softball, Shane. Can you name them?
I know the Gators are.
19 and 0.
Yeah. They haven't really
Yes.
been tested yet.
No, they haven't. There's been a light schedule. You wanted the Grand Canyon is 16 and 0.
Oh, the Antelopes.
Tennessee is 14 and 0. North Carolina is 14 and 0, and Alabama is 13 and 0. So, and they're just getting started. I don't know a lot about this team yet.
They're very good.
Have you seen them play, Shane?
No, I start going to games once they I do go watch them play, but
Yeah.
once SEC play starts. But they got everything you need. They got power.
Mhm.
They got some stars. They got good pitching so far, as long as Rothrock stays healthy.
Yeah.
The baseball team's damn good too.
Well,
I mean,
I want to talk about that a little bit 'cause I don't know much about them. I don't get their games here until they start playing in league play here up in Northwest Florida. But I got this new outfielder. What's his name? Strayer. This guy is a guy that they talk about their pitching. And they got some surprising people, and now Sully's back, and he's apparently in good spirits. So I'm looking forward to reading and learning more about the baseball team. But Shane, here's the question: if you were playing today, would you like to be designated as the franchise player, having a franchise tag if you're playing?
would I want to be a franchise guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Well, a lot of people don't want to be
Oh, you're talking about the franchise tag and all that stuff from a
franchise
money
tag.
standpoint? No. I mean, look, buddy, I was a minimum salary guy in the
No, I'm
NFL.
just saying, if you were whoever, you wouldn't like to be a franchise tag guy, right?
Probably not if you're one of the stars, but you can't control that.
But this is how we are today in our greed cycle. Is that we say, "Oh, I'm giving me a franchise tag. I don't want to." Well, who the franchise player for the Falcons is probably going to be? Kyle Pitts.
Really.
You know how much he'll make? Take a guess what he'll guarantee how much he'll make for 1 year.
15 million.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
that's
why are
pretty
you
good.
whining about that? I don't think Kyle is. I'm just saying, I've always heard, that was no, that's something you didn't want. And finally, Shane, the golf wasn't much because our guys didn't. Scotty made a late move and didn't get there, and the guys at the top, I could hardly pronounce their name. The guy who won it and all that,
Jacob
but
Bridgman.
yeah, well, the other guy, but was it Podiger, what his name was? He didn't win. He was up there
Oh,
most.
Pot Gator? Pot
Yeah,
Gator?
yeah.
Yeah, buddy, he's like 19 years old. He's a
Yeah,
stud.
I just don't know him. I don't know about him. I
He's
like to
South
watch.
African. He won
Yeah,
last year.
yeah, I
Is it?
know the name, but I'm not going to turn on the TV to watch him play golf. Okay,
You should,
but
buddy. These guys are
well, I
incredible.
watched it, Shane, best I could. I couldn't stay interested, but Rory McIlroy's birdie putt at 18. What'd you think of that?
It was a good putt, but it didn't mean
I
anything.
didn't mean anything. Not so fast, my friend. Worth about between four and $500,000.
Well, Rory doesn't give a damn about the
I know,
money.
but you can't say it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, that birdie putt, amazing. But no, I'm not. I'm ready to get on with to the players now. Let's get the Florida tour going. I'm tired of California, Hawaii. Let's see some of those courses out there. They're killing it out there. So I want to see Scotty back in form. We'll see him make the turn and come back here, and let's count it down to Augusta.
Yeah, I thought it was a good golf tournament. I mean, Jacob Bridgman kind of felt the pressure of the last few holes coming down
Yeah,
the
he
stretch.
brought it together on 18. Made that putt.
Yep. Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. What was my take on Malachi Tony last night? Will he be a legit NFL player? I don't know if he will or not. He's a little man, but that doesn't mean anything. But he's a hell of a player right now. Trey says, tell us about Mario and Kirby's comedy show last night. You just got to go on Twitter. A bunch of people filmed it.
Yeah,
It's all over.
Dog Nation's
It's
got
all over
Kirby
Twitter.
for 10 minutes. It's
Yeah,
good. I
it was
posted.
great. It was absolutely great.
Yeah.
Oh man. MSRK said Pitts had a good year last year. I think he's kind of underachieved, so to speak. Would you agree with that, buddy?
Yeah, he's been kind of quiet. They were raving about it. Now you just see him every now and then. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure how they're using him. I haven't seen that many Falcon games, but he does seem to appear to underachieve. One more thing, Shane, before we go too far. The news that that Billy Gonzalez is going to Texas is not good
Why?
because he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, he wanted to continue, and they hired him as an
I'm
analyst.
not saying that I'm talking about not him. It was fine. I'm glad he got a job. He did a great job here. I thought he was unheralded. But you know who he joins? Jaluk, number one, is already there. And Nick Kirby is, you know what Kirby's making for his 3-year contract here as defensive coordinator? Take a guess.
Who?
Kirby's, I mean, not Kirby, Will Muschamp, I mean.
Oh, Muschamp's being paid a lot of money.
You know how much for 3 years?
9 million.
$8.4 million. He got back and coached in a hurry. That's nice. So you got, I guess they figure at Texas, if you can't beat them, join them. They got 3 Gators on their staff now.
Yeah, I think the Muschamp hire is outstanding for Sarkisian.
I do too.
Those two together, the Longhorns are going to be tough.
I know you can't. You're going to lose a few, and you can't get them all. And I know that Summerall is doing a good job there. I just hope he doesn't regret Billy Gonzalez going to the other side. I know you can't keep them all. I think Gonzalez is a hell of a coach.
No, he is a good coach, but there's a lot of good coaches out there, and he obviously thinks our wide receiver coach that he hired is a better fit or a better coach than Gonzalez. Everybody looks at things differently.
We'll see. I mean, what it is, and I know you can't get them all. I mean, he's done a fabulous job. He seems to be really, really on the money with what he's doing. I'm anxious to see what the news is about the other players he's going to get and how it's going to come together.
This text here, I think this is from Kevin on the Titan More text line, says, "We won't regret it at all."
How do you know that?
Well, we don't, but
I know results when I see them, and I'm not knocking I know that the offensive coordinator Faulkner's going to be a hell of a guy, and they got a good quarterback and all that, and maybe they'll be just fine.
they'll be fine.
Anytime I see a guy who is a good coach going to the other side, I don't like it, and I just, like I said, I hope it doesn't come back to bite Coach Summerall in the butt.
It won't. There's a lot of good coaches in the world, and you can't have them all.
Well, you try.
Yeah, but like I said, he may have better coaches on this staff. I think his staff is outstanding.
I do too, but let's see how it translates into that. Listen, I'm not knocking him. I'm a big John Summerall fan. I can't wait to see your guy, Buster Faulkner, what he can do. And I like what I'm seeing. I think Troutwine is an amazing hire. And the offensive line should be quite a bit better. And with the running backs they got, they should do really well. I mean, they don't turn the ball over and play a little D, they got a chance here. I don't know what that means yet, and you don't either, but I think it's trending upward. And I give Coach Summerall a high grade for what he's done so far based on what we've seen, but we don't really know much. It's okay to be happy about it, though. It's okay.
All right, buddy. Last thing before we get out of here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. Joseph says, "Buddy, you should have your Young Bucks pushing Gator Bait chant comeback on social media."
I know, you're right.
With your brand name, it just makes sense.
You know what? We got to do that, Shane. I'm working on some stuff. You're going to help me get some gear. I just got more than I can handle. I need some more Young Bucks. Anybody wants to be a Young Buck for Buddy? Get in touch with me. I need more. But you're right.
Yep. You need
bring back Gator Bait.
Bring it back. Bring it back. All right, buddy. Have a good week. We'll talk.
All right, Shane. You too. I'll talk to you tomorrow on the show Wednesday night.
Yep, that's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temple. Atlantic Roofing, your roofing experts for residential, commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. Take a quick time out, come back. Win with JC kicks it off. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. Be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Linderos Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Comfort Temp, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, MG&A Wealth. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, call my man Freddie, 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, plus you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
All right, everybody, welcome to another half hour of Win with JC. I'm here for the next 30 minutes following up on Shane with Buddy Martin here on a Tuesday morning. We are going to look at basketball games tonight in the SEC and throughout the country in college basketball. We will also, I will also give you some picks for the games tonight from some of our experts that I subscribe to and follow on VSiN. So to give you a little bit of a professional perspective from Vegas, we'll go over the PGA Tour for a few minutes, and then we'll, of course, take and read some of your contributions here on YouTube and Facebook as we get ready for a big night of basketball, big week of handicapping as we get closer and closer to the postseason. Zach Rothrock will join me here momentarily. He will have some baseball futures as we get ready for spring training as we head into the glorious month of March. The weather is going to warm up here in the North Florida area. Probably by the end of this week, we'll get back into the high 70s. Baseball will be in the air throughout the state of Florida in the month of March as we get ready for another big season of Major League Baseball. Of course, college baseball, once these teams start playing more games, we'll have a little bit more of an idea of what we're looking at. Of course, everybody is ranked, it seems like, in the SEC with the exception of maybe a few teams. So we'll go through during the baseball season as we get ready for college baseball to kick in a little bit with some conference play in the ends of March as we go through the postseason in college basketball. We've got NHL playoffs. The Olympics are over. And, you know, just a lot of things happening right now as you get ready to try to make some money here on the Hard Rock in Florida or wherever you may play throughout the United States and the, multiple states that allow this legally. So let's get started with some basketball right now. Last week, although I have to mention last week was kind of an average week. We liked Michigan State. They won. We liked Nebraska. They won. We liked Purdue. They lost. We liked Miami. They did not cover. We like Texas Tech. They lost outright. Not only that, but they also lost JT Toppin, their best player at Arizona State. The Florida Gators continue to come in every single game as a double-digit favorite. Vegas has caught on. The rest of the country needs to. I listened to 3 shows yesterday on both the on Sirius Satellite Radio, 3 different shows. And they all talked about college basketball. They all talked about the big teams, the Duke game with Michigan, the Houston game with Kansas and Arizona, and so on and so forth. Never heard a mention about the Florida Gators, who are the defending national champions, who are ranked 12th in the country going in. I'm not even sure. I didn't even check the AP poll. They're probably higher. I didn't even look at it this morning. But the Gators are hot right now. They're the defending national champions. They cover every week, it would seem. They covered 3 out of their last 4 games, with the exception of the South Carolina game at home last week. They blew out 3 teams on the road. They just got done finished winning another game on the road at Mississippi on Saturday. They're getting ready to go to Texas tomorrow night. That line has not been announced yet. We'll talk about it tomorrow on Matthews in the Morning at 8 o'clock with Shane, the Texas-Florida game in Austin. So it seems like only the handicappers in Vegas are in tune with the Florida Gators, who are covering on a daily basis, scoring 80 and 90 points a game and getting some outside shooting. And it would seem like a lot of the guys on these podcasts, these experts, they're not really talking about it. One team they talked about last night was the Kansas Jayhawks, and last night they put it on the Houston Cougars. I lost that pick, but I did have North Carolina last night at home without their best player, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams plays quarterback for the Bears. Caleb Wilson, he did not play for North Carolina, but they're very good at home, and they won easily last night in college basketball. That was an easy.
I was actually on both of those as well, JC. I actually assumed that you were on Kansas, given that you were wearing the big red hat.
I am punishing myself for taking by wearing the Kansas hat. And the Jayhawks look really good. And this is a crazy team.
Yeah.
This is a team that can get blown out at home by Cincinnati and not even show up. And then last night looked like the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, up and down the court, making
their
shots.
Team defense was crazy.
Crazy team defense. Outstanding team defense. You are absolutely right. Houston had no answers. That under came in very easily. Houston had a lot of problems finding offense.
And we had multiple commenters mention that the Gators are ranked number 7, as you brought up a minute ago as well.
Thank you for that update. Yeah, Thank you for that update. They should be ranked number 7. I mean, my God, this team is just blowing people out on the road in the SEC, and Texas is next. We'll see, however. Texas is pretty good in Austin. That's a very kind of a schizophrenic basketball team. But on the top, it looks like Florida probably, I would say, going into that game is a 7 or 6.5 point, 7.5 point favorite going into Austin tomorrow night. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. So let's get into tonight's schedule, Zach, before you go into your baseball future.
And one more thing, one more comment real quick. So Franklin on YouTube chat line, he set the over-under at 23 hats for JC. And I'm actually curious. I thought I would take the over on that.
You better take the over.
Yeah, one commenter mentioned you probably have at least 23 SEC hats. So
multiply that by 3.5, maybe 4.
There you go, Franklin.
I just love my hats. I mean, I'm just addicted. It's my addiction.
There you go.
Yeah, some people are addicted to heroin. Some people are addicted to
hats far healthier.
Methamphetamines and alcohol. I'm addicted to hats.
Hats are far healthier. There you go.
Kentucky lands 6.5 at South Carolina. The total is 149.5. Kentucky is ranked 60th in rebounds in America. They are ranked 55th in offensive boards. They have 3 players who were hurt tonight. They are 97th on offense. They're 6-4 in their last 10, and they've lost 3 in a row. And I love them tonight, -6.5 against South Carolina. South Carolina cannot rebound. They have a very bad average. Their ranking on rebounds alone is 305th in the country. They're 146th in the country in offense. They're 284th in defense. They are 2-8 in their last 10. They did beat Mississippi State by scoring 97 points. Mississippi State simply just didn't care, and they lost 97-89. So South Carolina gets 97 points in their last game. They're 2-8 in their last 10. And Kentucky gets screwed at Auburn. What else is new? Everybody gets screwed at Auburn. And Kentucky loses 75-74. I think this 3-game losing streak is about to end. They really do miss Cam Williams. But the reality is that they're so much more talented, even without these 3 injured players, than the South Carolina Gamecocks. Take the Wildcats and take this and just lay the 6.5. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. But that's who I think's winning this game tonight, and I think they'll win by 10. The other game in the SEC that's got my attention is Auburn at Oklahoma. Now, here's Auburn coming off that Kentucky win. At 15-12, Pearl, the younger Pearl, the head coach there, is about average. His team is averaging 83.7 points per game. That's 33rd in the country. And they are very good on the offensive glass, 100, and they're rather ranked, 15th in the country in offensive rebounds, 16.6 rebounds per game. Oklahoma, a very mediocre to poor team, 2-8 over their last 10 games. They've lost 2 in a row. Auburn laying 1.5 is the play. at Oklahoma. And then we've got Tennessee at Missouri. This is another road team. And this is kind of odd that we're going to look at 3 road winners tonight, outright winners. But I like Tennessee laying at 3.5. Maybe if you want to parlay Tennessee to get off that number with Auburn and Kentucky on a money line, you can get almost 3-1. If you take Tennessee and lay the 1.5, you can parlay them with Auburn and Kentucky and get almost 4.5-1 on a money line parlay. If you use your profit boost that they offer at Hard Rock, I've got a 50% profit boost that's boosted my odds up to 650 on an Auburn, Tennessee, and Kentucky money line parlay. That means you're not laying spreads unless you take the Tennessee minus 1.5, and then you put that with the 2 money line plays on the other 2 teams, and you're getting plus 650. The money line parlay without the spread is plus 256. Not great. Auburn and Tennessee plus 173 in a 2-team parlay. You could do that as well. So it's Kentucky minus 6.5, Auburn minus 1.5, Tennessee at Missouri minus 3.5. That's a little scary, but 3.5 on the road means there's a lot of confidence in this Tennessee team, who is 8-2 in their last 10. They are winners of 4 straight. Both Missouri and Tennessee average 80 points per game. Missouri, however, is 14-2 at home. They're very good. So if you're scared of the 3.5, buy it down or take Tennessee in a parlay scenario and buy that 3.5 down to 1.5. Key it up with Auburn and Kentucky, and you're looking at almost 7-1. So that's those are my SEC plays tonight. Zach, you got any comments or any games you like right now off the top of your head?
Yeah, so for college basketball, I do have a couple of what I consider system plays. And then the system doesn't got to be complicated. Those that make complicated never get congratulated, all right? So what I look for is home teams that are catching a lot of points, all right? And a couple of those, now it'll be the Eastern Michigan taking on the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Now the Redhawks are hot, and they have won a lot of games. But when they win by a considerable amount, like 20-plus points, typically those are home games. They're on the road tonight at Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's catching 10.5. I like them to cover that spread. And then also a big game, Notre Dame is hosting Duke. Notre Dame is getting 17.5 points against the number 1 ranked Duke Blue Devils. I have to imagine that's going to be an environment where the arena's fired up. Maybe Notre Dame gets off to a hot start. I do understand that Duke is significantly more talented, et cetera, but this is college basketball. It's a regular season game in February. You're giving me 17.5 points. I'm going to look at it. You don't like this? Well, what's up?
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. You know, the arena's going to be fired up for about 5 minutes, and then after they do that,
after the Boozer boys throw down a couple alley-oops, that'll settle them down.
Yeah, well, Boozer will have 20 in the first half. I would take Duke. But listen, you're right about the spreads. This is not about who's going to win the game. Obviously, we're not picking that. We're picking numbers. And on your Eastern Michigan-Miami game, it does scare me, Zach, that even though this game is in Ypsilanti, Michigan, they are 10-18. They are 1-9. Oh, there goes my screen. They are 1-9. They are 1-9 in their last.
I understand this is nasty. We're getting nasty with it.
A miserable team. Let's talk about Miami. 27-0. 92.3 points per game. Second in the United States of America. 71.2 pace, whatever that means. That's 26. Field goal percentage, 53.4%. That is number 1 ranked in America. 10.7 in three-point shooting. That is 18th in the United States of America. 3-point percentage, 40%. That is ranked 3rd in America. Miami score a lot of points. Look at the team total there. I guarantee it's going to be close to 90. It'll be in the 80s. You can go there if you want to. If you don't want to lay the 10.5, take that Miami team total. These guys score points. They score points. The last time I took Miami of Ohio, I had the team total. Easy cover. Easy cover, team total over. These guys can score. They're 27-0. They'll be in the tournament. I don't want to hear anybody tell me.
Oh, absolutely. Miami of Ohio, oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous. On the flip side of good offense, we have misery in Rutgers and Washington. But this is why I bring up Rutgers and Washington. This game is getting played in New Jersey. New Jersey is under 6 feet of snow. Washington has been in the Eastern Seaboard for now almost, 4 or 5 days. They have traveled. They have been living in hotels. They are miserable. They want to leave. They want to get back to Wackoville and Seattle. They are 3-7 in their last 10. They are 3-8 on the road. Rutgers is 2-8 in their last 10, but they are 9-6 at home. There might be 15 people at this game because of the weather conditions in New Jersey, but something is screaming to me Rutgers plus 4.5 at home against Washington, who has come from the far reaches of the galaxy to sit in the Northeast during a nor'easter. You think those kids are happy? You think they want to be there? Hell no, they won't be there. So we've got 2 other road teams that I'm looking at here. North Carolina State at Virginia getting 6.5. It's down to 5.5 now. NC State can fill it up. They're averaging 85 points per game. That's 24th in the U.S. They're 7-3 their last 10. Virginia 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 8 in a row, but they did not cover against Miami on the weekend. That was an 86-83 game in Virginia. And then how about Cincinnati? They're playing at Texas Tech tonight. Texas Tech without their best player. Texas Tech getting some respect here at home, laying 5.5, 6.5 to a Cincinnati team that's won 4 straight. Cincinnati beat Kansas 84-68 on the road. They beat Kansas State by 30 on the road. They beat Utah at home, and they beat UCF by 20 at home. Cincinnati has found something. They don't have a gaudy record or anything like that, but they are playing very good basketball. That might be a road dog for you to look at plus 5.5, plus 6.5, along with NC State getting 5.5, 6.5 at Virginia. Before we get to Zach's baseball futures, I want to go through some of the expert picks that I have on the Vegas Stats and Information Network. It's a subscription that I watch. It is a fantastic handicapping website. It's the best. It's the best in America. Tim Murray is one of the guys I follow. He was 7-2 this week. Here are his plays, and you can follow or tail or fade any of these. UCF plus 7 at BYU. He likes Dayton plus 6 at St. Louis, or at home against St. Louis. He likes Southern Cal plus 6.5. A lot of dogs here for Tim. Plus 6.5 at UCLA. That's just a simple trip across town. Baylor plus 9.5 at home against Arizona. The Wildcats coming off a huge win earlier this weekend. Chris Massero, a guy that I follow deeply, he won the Friday Football Invitational with Matt Humans over the football season. Outstanding handicapper. North Carolina State plus 6 at Virginia. Michigan minus 21.5 at home against Minnesota. He's got the Dayton team plus 6 against St. Louis. So that's twice we've heard Dayton. He likes Rutgers, as do I, but he's getting 5 as he's already played that game. And he likes the under 142.5. Again, these teams are just sitting in hotels. They don't want to play basketball. Cincinnati and Texas Tech under 142 is Chris Massero. Dustin Sweetelson, Dayton. Here's another one. Dayton. Everybody's on Dayton. He's got Missouri plus 3.5 against Tennessee. I'll be going against him there. He'll probably win, but maybe not. UCF over 162 against BYU. Southern Cal over 150 against UCLA. Rutgers. There's Rutgers again. Plus 5. He also got them at home against Washington. NC State plus 6 against Virginia. So I'm with Dustin on those picks. And then there's Jensen Lewis, who's taking Missouri tonight and is taking Missouri on the money line plus 155. How did Tim Murray go 7-2 last week? He won with Arizona State. He won with Kansas. He won with Rhode Island, Ohio State, and Virginia Tech last week. He also won with UCF over TCU. And then he lost with UMass against Miami of Ohio. And he lost another game with, he lost Purdue against Michigan. I also lost that game. So those are some basketball plays for you. Recapping once again, Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee. I like Miami. Zach likes Eastern Michigan. Take the team total if you don't want to lay the lumber. I also like Rutgers tonight. I like NC State, and I like Cincinnati. Those are my plays. What do you got for us there, Zach?
There you go. Yeah, real quick before we get into the baseball, MSRK on YouTube wants to know, JC, do you play the horses? And he needs some help down there in Tampa if you do.
I can't help you there. I'm so sorry.
I wasn't sure.
I hate pari-mutuel wagering. I've never liked it. I think it's a losing. Over time, you just get destroyed. And some people will say, well, you get all gambling over overtime. Well, I don't believe that.
Well, yeah, that's a
But
fair
most
point.
people do. That's true. But I will tell you that people make a living doing this. There are very successful people that make a living doing this. There have been people that have made a living doing this for decades. You just have to commit. You have to commit. You can't be distracted. And you have to watch a lot of sports. If you don't get into those kinds of things, don't even think about it. But I do think that parimutuel wagering is really it's a scam. It's a scam. I'm not saying horse racing is, but I believe dog racing has been. I believe highlight has been. I think the lottery is a scam. And all of this was available until the Hard Rock was allowed to introduce sports gambling in the state of Florida. And I guarantee you market share has escaped the parimutuel industries that begged to keep sports gambling out of the state of Florida. And they eventually lost. It's called competition. The lottery sucks. Don't ever do that unless you want to give a present of a scratch off that costs you no more than $20 to a family member for Christmas or Easter or something like that. Go ahead and scratch away and then throw it in the garbage can and then clean up all the mess you made with the gray crap that you spray off with your lucky penny. That's about the extent of the lottery that I will ever even entertain on this very expensive airtime. Go ahead, Zach.
I honestly was not expecting that answer, but I do love it. And Veron says he just likes being around the ponies and drinking alcohol. But we will get to these MLB futures. And something I like to look for with these is teams that either had a run of good luck or bad luck last season. The Atlanta Braves felt like they really caught the injury bug early, and I think it was Acuna got injured very early for the season, and he was gone. The total is very high. The total is 88.5 for the Braves. That's a ridiculous number. I know I want to take the over, but it's a lot. I think if everything goes swimmingly, they would hit that. But man, that's a crazy high total. But I would kind of like to take the opposite approach with the Seattle Mariners, who they had a wonderful season last year, went on a great run. Their total is 89.5. That's a ridiculous amount. You got to go ridiculously hot in baseball to get 90 plus wins, and so I would lean towards the under on that total. Looking at a team with a very low total that I think is a non-serious franchise right now would be the Tampa Bay Rays. 77.5 wins. That's a very low number, but I think it's going to be hard for them to reach that total. They're not hard. They're barely fielding a MLB roster. They've lost a few players. And then looking at another team that also has a low total that hardly ever does anything, but right now they got two loaded pitchers. They got Paul Skeens, they got Mitch Keller. They did take a player from they took Brandon Lowe from the Tampa Bay Rays and Reiner Hearn. I'm talking, of course, about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their win total is about the same as the Rays. They're only at 76.5. So my logic with this is if they can win the majority of the Paul Skeens starts, they can win a majority of the Mitch Keller starts. They've loaded up a couple of extra bats with Marcell Ozuna and Hearn, or they re-signed Hearn and got Brandon Lowe. I think they could fall into 77 wins. Why not? I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not saying they're going to be in the race for the pennant, but 77 wins is not a lot, and I do think that the Pirates could obtain that.
That's interesting. What do you have, or do you have anything on Cleveland?
The Cleveland Guardians, I see their total is 79.5.
That was in the 80s last week. The whole world is betting under on Cleveland. What has happened to Cleveland? Has something happened? I don't know why, but everybody.
I'm not sure.
Everybody I've heard says take under Cleveland. Also Minnesota, under on Minnesota. But I like looking at overs. Unders are miserable to live through. And I can't imagine locking money up for 9, 10, 11 months to hope people lose.
And just being a hater.
That just means your life is empty and void. And I think you got to look for overs, man. But I get it. It's all about winning. It's all about
just
winning.
Keep win with JC. Not always take the over with JC. It's a win with JC.
But I hate laying money for 9, 10 months and getting nothing out of it.
Yeah.
We had
but also that's the casual better mindset, and that's how these books take us to the cleaners. But I definitely understand that for sure.
God, it's just awful to sit there and wait for those bets to come in. You can hit an over before the season's over and cash that.
That's very true.
But you can't with an under unless it's mathematically impossible.
Yeah, you can do the same with under. They just got to lose a lot. but you can.
Nah, they have to lose a lot. Yeah, they have to live with a lot. Now, Barone, my man from South Florida, who I'm going to one day meet and have a cold drink with in the beautiful South Florida area. South Florida meaning the Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Jupiter, Palm Beach, Vero Beach, Miramar, Hialeah, Coral Gables, Coral Spring, Coral Gables. Just a lovely area. I like flying over that during rush hour though, and not driving it. But my man Barone wants to talk about this Florida State Miami game, Zach. Miami is a very good team. They have a lot of wins. They're over 20 wins. They lost to Virginia on the road by 3, but they've been hot. This is a tournament team. But you know what Florida State's done in the last 6 games or 7 games? They've won 6 out of their last 7. Who is Florida State? Where have they come from? And this was a team nobody's been talking about at all. They have caught life. They're only 14-13, so it would appear that they would need to win probably the ACC tournament. Good luck with that, with Duke and North Carolina and so on. But you just never know, right? Florida State beat Clemson in their last game, 70-65. Florida State beat Boston College by 8. They blew out Virginia Tech. They lost to Virginia by only 3, but they blew out Notre Dame on the road. And they blew out Stanford. They also blew out Cal. These are not great wins by any stretch, but when they were at Miami the last time they played, they won by 2 on January the 20th. Florida State is a quiet, sneaky little basketball team catching 2.5 to 3 points against Miami. This is a very good game. This should have 10,000 fans at the Civic Center, I would think, if you got nothing to do in Tallahassee, and most people don't, except drink. So I would say go to the Florida State-Miami game tonight and watch FSU, your home team, play the Miami Hurricanes. I think it's a great game. I might watch some of that tonight. I think I'm leaning over on Florida State at home, getting the 2.5. But Miami is I've loved Miami here in the last 2-3 weeks. I think they're outstanding.
Yeah, they've both been hot, but when in doubt, ride the momentum, and Florida State has been hotter more recently. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
This is a spot for Miami to come back and win. Hey, real quick before we check out, as time has rapidly gone by, I don't know if you've noticed in PGA golf on the Peachland Dental Picks contest that Shane and I do every Wednesday, and we'll do it again tomorrow for the tournament down in South Florida. When I say South Florida, I always refer to the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area. Tampa is not South Florida. That's mid-Florida.
That's Central Florida. I agree.
Miami is South Florida, Key West. I had Jacob Bridgman, plus 1,400. He won. In the Waste Management Phoenix Open, I picked Chris Goddard. He won. In the American Express PGA West Tournament at Jack's Place, I had Scotty Scheffler. He won. That's 3 winners. I've had Jake Knapp, multiple top 5s and top 10s. Shane has had Justin Rose, who won at the Farmers Insurance Market. So out of, I don't know, 6 tournaments or 7, I don't know how many we've seen already in the PGA Tour. We have won 4 of those tournaments.
That is a very impressive team.
Winner. Not top 10, not top 20, not top 5, although, like I said, I've had Jake Knapp all these top 5s and top 10s. He had a top 10 for me last week. But Shane had Rose. I had Scheffler, Goddard up in Bridgman. Shane had McIlroy last week. He tied for 2nd, 1 stroke back. He's had Siwoo Kim, multiple top 10s.
You know, I was about to say, if only I was going to say, if only Siwoo Kim could get a win, Shane would 100% get that one correct because he is on the list every single week.
Well,
so
he is.
Yeah.
But how is it that between the two of us, we've had 4 winners out of, 7 tournaments? 6? That's obscene.
I'm going
to have to cut these clips off our show and send them straight to VEASAN. Go ahead and get a job out there with some of their golf guys, or just do a podcast for them. But we've got the golf down.
That's a very impressive player. It is.
Bridgman plus 1,400 on Hard Rock. He was much higher on these other apps, FanDuel, DraftKings. Hard Rock's a little skimpy on some of these odds, but I also have him top 10 plus 550 after the first round. So it's been good. We've got a bug out. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Good luck with your bets, everybody. And I'll be back at 8 a.m. with Shane tomorrow morning. Have a good one.